or something. No, just like dealing with online hate.
Hate, yes.
Especially in the gaming community where I think there's a lot of hate
Much.
more than like in the online like
Is there though?
fashion vlogging community. I think so. I think because I've been kind of trying to watch a bunch of different YouTubers. And I think that in general, like at least with like some of like the beauty vloggers and like the makeup gurus and stuff, I think there's probably still trolls there, but I think it's maybe a little less everyone seems fairly positive on those videos that I watch. I don't know if it's just because those channels have like really good moderators and they're deleting all the trolly comments, but I think in the gaming community, it's like I think it's a known issue that we deal with like a lot of hate in our community and just people constantly slinging things at each other. Like basically a couple of things that brought this up, and we can talk on like both of them. One of them was so Uncharted 4 is coming out soon.
Yes.
And all the reviews are out now, or pretty much out. And Lucy O'Brien did a review for IGN, and she gave Uncharted 4 an 8.8, which is a great score.
Which is an average IGN score.
And people are like,
not for Uncharted, Chris.
Oh,
freaking out about it. And if you go to that like page and read the comments, every single one of them pretty much is super negative, and they're all to the theme basically of like she's a woman and she scored Uncharted 4 poorly because it had a male protagonist. And like one of the comments is literally like, so someone said like, oh, this like reviewer is a woman, she should be fired. There's even a petition to have her like fired from IGN. It has like 20 signatures or something, so it's not relevant, but like anyways, one of the comments is like, whatever, she should be fired, she's a woman, she's being it biased. And then the other guy goes to defend him or whatever, and he's like, hey, like I'm not a fan of the female mind, just like everyone, but you shouldn't be mean to female review. I'm like, what is this? So anyways, it's just like super insane.
All right.
One example of hate. And then the other one is on my channel. As I grow a little bit more, I do get some comments that are like not useful, and
boobs.
Like some are like super overtly like inappropriate, like definitely like someone like was like
not bad for a girl
is at this game, yeah, like stuff like that. And then there's just stuff which is just like people getting really angry for no reason. Like in one of my let's plays in Dark Souls 3, there's like this big area, and there's one area that's kind of a later game area, and I didn't go into it, and I didn't fight someone in that area, and like a bunch of people were just like getting mad. They're like, oh, like why didn't you fight that guy? And just like stuff that I don't feel is relevant. So I guess just my topic is generally like, how do we either improve the situation, or when do we know when to draw a line? Because something that I've been thinking about in my comments is like I've been removing online hate.
hate, yes.
Especially in the gaming community where I think there's a lot of hate more than like in the online like
is there though
vlogging community. I think so. I think because I've been kind of trying to watch a bunch of different YouTubers, and I think that in general, like at least with like some of like the beauty vloggers and like the makeup gurus and stuff, I think there's probably still trolls there, but I think it's maybe a little less. Everyone seems fairly positive on those videos that I watch. I don't know if it's just because those channels have like really good moderators and they're deleting all the trolly comments, but I think in the gaming community, it's like I think it's a known issue that we deal with like a lot of hate in our community and just people constantly slinging things at each other. Like basically a couple of things that brought this up, and we can talk on like both of them. One of them was so Uncharted 4 is coming out soon.
Yes.
And all the reviews are out now, or pretty much out. And Lucy O'Brien did a review for IGN, and she gave Uncharted 4 an 8.8, which is a great score.
Which is an average IGN score.
And people are like,
Not for Uncharted, Chris.
Oh.
freaking out about it. And if you go to that like page and read the comments, every single one of them pretty much is super negative, and they're all to the theme basically of like, she's a woman and she scored Uncharted 4 poorly because it had a male protagonist, and like one of the comments is literally like, so someone said like, oh, this like reviewer is a woman, she should be fired. There's even a petition to have her like fired from IGN. It has like 20 signatures or something, so it's not relevant, but like anyways, one of the comments is like, whatever, she should be fired, she's a woman, she's being biased. And then the other guy goes to defend him or whatever, and he's like, hey, like I'm not a fan of the female mind, just like everyone, but you shouldn't be mean to female review. I'm like, what is this? So anyways, it's just like super insane. So
all right,
one example of hate. And then the other one is on my channel. As I grow a little bit more, I do get some comments that are like not useful, and
boobs.
like some are like super overtly like inappropriate, like definitely like someone like was like
Not bad for a girl.
Is at this game, yeah, like stuff like that. And then there's just stuff which is just like people getting really angry for no reason. Like in one of my Let's Plays, in Dark Souls 3, there's like this big area, and there's one area that's kind of a later game area, and I didn't go into it, and I didn't fight someone in that area, and like a bunch of people were just like getting mad. They're like, oh, like why didn't you fight that guy? And just like stuff that I don't feel is relevant. So I guess just my topic is generally like, how do we either improve the situation, or when do we know when to draw a line? Because something that I've been thinking about in the comments is like, I've been removing some comments recently, and it's like, when do I draw the line between comments that I just don't like, are overtly not appropriate, and then when am I just censoring people, and am I censoring my community? So where's that good line between like, how do we deal with hate, and when does it devolve into censorship?
Okay.
I just read those comments. Those are some shitty comments.
On the IGN review?
Yeah.
They're like,
I don't trust women reviewing video games. What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, here I want to counterpoint this. All right.
All right.
How many PlayStation 4s we got out there? Like, we're approaching the 40 million number, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I just looked up the IGN Uncharted 4 review. There's 14,000 plus comments, almost 15,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we saying that those 15,000 people now represent everybody because they could type a stupid comment?
Nope. But that's
like
the point. They're representing the voice that's online. That's who they represent when they go in there and they speak stupid shit like that. I think it's not they're representing us as a whole. They're representing well, okay, let me put it this way. If it's one person, then no, that's an asshole. But when it becomes like a hive mindset where everyone's saying the same thing over and over again, it kind of, people start looking at it as, is this representative of the gaming community? Whether or not it is or it isn't, that's what people are going to see. And so now you have this group.
But who's going to see it?
Whoever's not a gamer who wants to. Dude, have you seen like the new stuff? They've always had this like bad thing about people who play video games: slackers, not very smart, lazy.
Yeah.
And then you get this shit, and it's like, oh, now they hate women. It's like it's you can't. There's no winning there, and there's no need for any of it. It's just stupid hate. It's ridiculous. I've always said this, but I've always been looked at as like an asshole in myself. But it's like, it's just a bunch of whiny kids who have, and they're not even kids. That's the best part. A lot of them aren't even kids. They're just whiny adults who feel like whatever is in their little like circle is the right way to think, and they just go in there and blast it. And then they get the few people on the internet who support that, and it's like, haha, jokes, guys. Women are dumb. And so they just get that support. They get that moral support and just continue going.
Right.
I don't know. See, to me, it's like, I don't like that it's the way it is. But, I mean, because the internet has definitely become like a platform for the downtrodden and the pathetic. But I mean, shouldn't the onus be on us to be intelligent enough to like parse out the yammerings of these like poor souls and not really give a damn what they say if it's going to be that idiotic? I mean, to me, it's like Trump. Like, I just don't listen to him because he's a moron. So, like, like it's just white noise, you know?
Now,
Yeah, but especially on that view, I think the comments are like 100% negative, and she's probably getting tweeted a lot of the time. And
See,
even me, like when I get a YouTube notification or something, and like someone calls me like an offensive name, like that pops up on my phone, right? Like I'm reading that, so I'm exposed to that negativity, and it's definitely, you do have to develop a thick skin, but there's also like, it's like, well, it's that.
well, I'll say this: like, it does suck. You got to deal with that. At the same time, like Ms. O'Brien here, like, didn't take on a job at IGN reviewing games, thinking everybody was just going to be all, roses and cupcakes. Like,
no,
I mean, that's just not what you're signing up for there. Like, IGN's comments are known for being like a vitreous pool of hatred.
But dude, but guys do it, and if a guy viewed Uncharted 4 as shit, then he wouldn't get shit on. It's like, I agree. Let me,
It's like
I'll keep that in mind, sir.
It's like I said to my boy Tim Geddes. I said, you can't worry about the vocal minority,
I think you're missing a point here, man. It's not.
No, I'm not missing the point. I am arguing the counterpoint.
They're commenting on her and not the content she put out.
Why would you care what someone that stupid says?
The whole point of the comments is to create a community. Or that whole comment section is for a community to discuss what the content is, not to discuss the validity of the person if she has a vagina or a dick. Like, you want to discuss her content. That's what it's there for. So now you have these assholes taking that spot up, saying some stupid misogynistic shit, and that's irritating. Like, you want to read it, you want to see like a legit discussion. Like, does she bring up some good points about the game? Why did she rate it an 8.8, which is still goddamn good to me? Like, if I'm going to buy a game and it says 8.8, I'm like, cool, I'll buy the game. Like, that's all right. But there's none of that. There's nothing about what she's saying that makes sense. It's like, oh, look at this feminist with I think one of them was talking about her hairstyle being the alternative life hairstyle.
Oh God, yeah, it's just the worst.
Talking about a game that has a male protagonist, of course it's going to have an 8.8. It's like, it's an 8.8. What the hell are you so angry about?
I don't know, man. I'm just like, stuff like that. I'm just like, yeah, you're stupid and beneath me. Like, you don't even register on my radar. Like, sorry. Like,
but it's the whole section.
Yeah, because those are the people who type.
There's no healthy discussion. That's the whole point of it.
Did you go on there and write anything positive?
Why would I write something positive?
I don't know. This is exactly what you're saying though. You're like, it's all negative. Well, somebody's got to go on there and write something positive. Did you?
You go and write something positive.
Allie, did you go on there and write anything positive about her review?
I tweeted.
See, like, it's easy to get mad at the idiots, but it's like, well, where's everybody else? Like, we're not commenting. We're not filling the board with positivity,
You don't have a group to go in there.
What do you mean?
There's not a lot of people that would actually go on and do that. In order to do that, you would have to wash out all the shit.
You see, what's a shame is that IGN only shows you how many people commented, but that article's probably got like 2 million hits.
Yeah.
So
again,
out of
I don't think the problem is like with everyone in general. It's just like, as a creator, if you want to create in the game space, if you want to write, if you want to make a YouTube video, and if you're putting your content out there, then you have to be prepared for a deluge of negative comments coming your way. And I think that's unfortunate because it inhibits like artists and creators, because even if people are passively consuming your content, then that's one thing that's great. Like, Lucy got paid, I'm sure, a lot for that review because IGN does very well, and I'm sure she got a lot of hits. So financially, she's rewarded. But I think people who create things and who put their souls out there, like, as much, game reviewers is supposed to be professional, but they are artistic in a way. They're writers, and YouTube, people who make YouTube are very creative as well. You know, they're putting everything into it. And so to have just come back with a flood of negativity it's difficult, you know, it for sure is difficult. So why, it's just such a shame, because otherwise I think in general the community is amazing. We just have some problems with, I think, the people who do comment or whatever, and it's not even really a problem, because I don't think just like banning everyone or whatever is the solution. So I just wonder, is there a solution to this persistent negativity online with each other? Is it a problem that maybe a lot of people covet Lucy's job? Because I think there's kind of an interesting, weird thing in that most people who participate in gaming want to be video game journalists, or want to be very popular YouTubers, or want to be podcasters, or want to do what these people are doing.
Yeah.
So is that a factor?
Well, I don't know, because like that whole thing's always weird, because like to do that stuff seems easy from the outside, and to a degree it is. It's not like, you know, like being an athlete or being a musician and having the talent, because those are things that you actually have to have a direct talent to do.
A super talent, yeah.
When you see, it's like when you see the person reading the news, you know, and you're like, I could do that. I could read off a teleprompter. Seems easy. There's some skill to it, but the gap is not as wide as it is between like being an athlete, a musician, and an artist, like something where you need a very specific skill set, you know?
Right.
Like these are jobs that have standard skill sets that all people have some margin of ability at.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody sees it and says, I could do it. I could do it better, you know? I was like, shit, I could podcast. And then I started doing it, and I was like, well, I better run a really shitty show, because otherwise I'm going to look bad. So that's why I get up and leave for drinks in the middle of my podcast, because I'm like, well, if I just make the show a train wreck from the start, it's all good. You know, nobody can judge me. Sorry, Mom, you can judge me. Yeah.
No, I mean, I totally feel like I put a lot of my YouTube videos are not like 100% like great quality. I mean, I'm learning all the time. It's hard. It's definitely, I think you're right. Like everyone thinks it's, you know, it's easy to just do a podcast or make a video or write a review or something. And then once you actually try to do it, you're like, oh, okay, this is harder than it looks.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, it does suck. I'm with you guys on the fact that why is it got to be so negative, but you know what? If you're not out there putting out the positive comments and all, you kind of, it's like losing your spot, you know? Like,
even when you see those, you'll go through it and you're like, negative, has nothing to do with.
But the point is, like, probably over 2 million people hit that page, and only 15,000 left comments. They just all happen to be mostly negative. If more of them 2 million would start posting positive comments, even just like, hey, great review, you know. Or you could even do like, great review, disagree with X, Y, and Z, but, you know, all in all solid, you know. Like, if nobody's out there pushing the you know, pushing things towards a more positive, or at least a more intellectual, like, cogent discussion, then it's kind of on us, too. Like, it's not just on the assholes, you know. Like,
yeah, that's true.
You know, well, be the change you want to see in the world, you know.
Engage the rational and the positive people in the world, which it's kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like bullying in general. Like ever since, you know, people were in elementary school, it's always like, oh, if you see bullying, like don't be a bystander and, you know, stand up. So stand up for people online who you think are getting unfairly bullied and leave a positive comment, or exactly like you said, like try to redirect the discussion into a more productive way. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with criticism, but I think there's definitely something wrong with criticism with a bunch of anger behind it, directed towards the person or directed towards how they look, or like it just doesn't, it's not relevant at all.
Yeah, no, it I don't know. It's like, think about this, right? Where do you have to be in your life to think that just spamming hatred across the internet's a good idea? Like, you know, I mean, you must be out of Cheetos or something. Like, it's got to be getting bad, you know?
Yeah, like a sad place, which is again why, you know, there can be the empathy there, and why I don't think, I mean, ever since the whole Gamergate thing started, there have been various responses to these things, and there have been some very strong responses, like to say, you know, like gamers are dead, and like just attack. And I think that's unfortunate because I think that escalates the problem rather than trying to make everyone into a more community, which is something that I just really want. So like understanding why people hate and maybe hopefully trying to reach them in a different way and not getting the hatred, although it does seem very futile, but ultimately I would just love for everyone to even not be positive, but just be in an okay place to just comment with their concerns or praises in just a nice way where they're not like super mean.
Yeah, I think there's no such thing as criticism, like constructive criticism, where people just go into a straight rage when they dislike something instead of like maybe giving, some type of feedback.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I personally would welcome like any type of negative feedback as long as it's like constructive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get it. I guess the only way to really deal with it is to just like take it with all the good. Just like, all right, okay, well that's one asshole. Moving on. It's kind of like when I was a barista. You sit there, you listen to people. They come in pissed off for no reason. They start insulting you. You're just like, well, I'm gonna go home and play some games. So
Yeah.
you continue having your angry day for no reason.